my question is that I've gotten to a situation where it is, I basically had a breach of contract with my ex-wife back in 2012, and with our custody agreement that we agreed upon. And what she did was she then in turn used the public school district, which it was Tammy Lapartis was the lady that actually did this. She actually rewrote my custody agreement, which me and my wife had agreed upon and all that stuff. And she told me, well, if you don't like it, sue us. And
who told you to sue him?
This director of special education at the school district.
Wait a second. Say that again. You said, wait, I'm trying to follow this. You and your wife got divorced.
Well, what happened was that she, this lady at the school district, she told me that she was going to rewrite our custody agreement, and because I had my children Monday through Friday, or Sunday through Friday, and she didn't like that. So,
okay, wait a second. Okay, let me go a little slower. You and your wife got divorced, right?
Yes.
Okay, what year?
2012.
Wow, recently. Okay, see, that helps. Okay, so you got divorced. Where did you get the divorce?
Here in Camdenton, Missouri.
Okay, Missouri. Is that where you got married?
Yes.
Is that where the children were born?
Yes.
Okay, that makes life simple. Okay, so you guys got divorced in 2012. How long were you married for?
7 years.
7 years. Okay, fine.
Technically 7 years. We were separated for like 4 years while this divorce process was going on. So technically we were married 7 years according to their paper.
And these kids are biologically yours?
Yes.
Okay, no dispute over that?
No.
Good, lovely. All right, I just needed to have a kind of an idea before you get too deep, man. You got to get some basics covered. All right, go ahead, man.
All right, and what happened was my kids have disabilities, and I told which me and my ex-wife had this parenting plan set out that she had to take them to these doctors, and she had to do this and that, and all this stuff, and take them to their therapies and everything they needed.
Okay, what kind of disabilities they got?
Well, my son was diagnosed with Asperger's and dyslexia and math disorder.
Asperger's, you mean he could say shit and fucking get away with it?
What's that?
Oh, is that Tourette's? I'm thinking Tourette's. What's Asperger's?
Asperger's is like a form of autism where he has a sensory processing disorder where sounds bother him. He's very sensitive in that aspect. He doesn't process stuff the way other people do. And I mean, it's a big type deal for him. And he's supposed to take occupational therapy and physical therapy or speech therapy and stuff like that to, in which I had it all set up privately for him. And which I was paying for this stuff, and my ex-wife didn't have to pay for anything. And the school wanted the services to happen at their location, and I told them when I enrolled the kids that everything's done private. This is the deal me and my ex-wife worked out. She has to take them here, so on and so forth. So do I, and we don't need anything from you. And the only thing I want you guys to do is just to accommodate the days they miss. That's it.
Right.
And so then they said, okay, yeah, that's not a big deal. We can do that.
Well,
okay.
What's the other kid's disability?
What's that? I'm sorry?
What's the other kid's disability? One's got Asperger's. And what's the other guy's?
My daughter has a bladder condition that she has a misshaped bladder and stuff, and so she has to go to a urologist and things like that, and is supposed to be on medication to help with her bladder spasms and things like that. And my daughter is also she's there's been some foul play, I'll just put it that way, by my ex-wife and her boyfriend towards my daughter. And
oh, no. What do you mean foul play? You mean they double dribble when she's not looking?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. No, I was talking basketball there for a second. I said they double dribble when, no. What do you mean foul play? What do you mean by foul?
Well, my daughter was with my ex-wife for 18 months in her sole custody, and there was several doctor's reports of vaginal rawness and bleeding and her butt hurt and all this stuff, and it could never be explained what was going on with her. And this happened for 18 months, and my ex-wife...
It got nothing to do with a bladder condition?
No, it had nothing to do with her bladder condition.
All right. It just sounded like there might have been a connection, very close proximity.
Right, and what we're thinking is it may have actually caused her bladder condition, the stuff that was going on to my daughter. Right. And so that's the basic history of that. So anyway, I had it set up to where all this stuff was taken care of for the kids, and my ex-wife nor I had any choice in the matter. What the doctor said is what went, because my ex-wife would doctor shop and all that stuff. So we had this agreement, and she, like I said, then I enrolled the kids in the school, told the school, hey, look, I want nothing from you guys. Everything's taken care of privately. Only thing I'm saying is, I need you guys just to say, okay, they can miss Tuesdays or whatever, Yeah. And so they were like, okay, yeah, not a big deal. Well, we had a meeting, and this lady, Tammy Laportis, she actually said, hey, I don't like what you've done with your kids. It seems like you've educationally neglected them and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And I was like,
who's this lady?
She's just the director of special education at the school district. That's all she is to me.
She's a director, you said?
Yeah, she's the director.
How did she get involved? How come a lower minion didn't contact you first? How did this director get in your life?
I have no idea. Many people that I've talked to said that they've never met this lady, and they have kids with disabilities in the school.
Okay, just slow down a second, then, man. Okay, so you said all of a sudden, a director isn't just going to walk into your life one day and say, hey, you know what? I don't like the way you're doing this thing. Who told her, who to make the director get off her ass and get involved in your life? Who's representing her? I'm saying who's underneath her that would have reported you to the director?
Well, and that was it, is whenever I enrolled the kids, about within 15 minutes, an email started shooting from the lady that I talked to whenever I enrolled the kids to the director.
You enrolled the kids where?
At the Lebanon School District.
Okay, you were enrolled. Okay. How long were they in that school before, what, did you just move into this location?
Yes, yeah. I just moved here after my divorce.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're skipping a lot of stuff here, man. Okay, so you moved to a new school district called Lebanon. Okay, great. So you moved to Lebanon. I hear it's really nice this time of year, Lebanon.
Yeah, it's a lot better than where you're at. I don't have so much snow.
Well, I figure you're in the Middle East. You're in Lebanon, so.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's what it seems like sometimes.
Palestine, Lebanon, yeah, okay. But anyway, Vital, I think he's Lebanese, ain't he, Vital? Oh, no, that's
what's that?
Oh, no, it's just Vital is listening. Vitals.
Oh.
I said, I asked him if he was Lebanese. I said, no, he's Portuguese, that's right.
Well, anyway, so this lady...
He moves to Lebanon, and things have got pretty rough in Lebanon. Yeah, I hear about that all the time. But, so you moved over to this new county called Lebanon County School District, and how did they even know about you? Why did they even get involved in your life?
Well, they got involved in my life because I just simply, like I said, I asked them for an accommodation plan for the kids because they would miss certain days.
Okay, that's great. Okay, now it's starting to make sense. You started it. Okay, that's fine.
All right, and this lady, Tammy Laportis, actually, the director of the director of special education, actually sued my aunt several years ago. And
how did she know you were related?
Because my mom actually testified in her case, and she had the same last name as me.
Oh, yeah, and that's right.
My mom went to the Supreme Court of Missouri on my case whenever I was a kid, and she won because they wouldn't educate me and stuff. It was an educational case.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's how she knows me. And
yeah.
I'm just like...
Yeah, so you guys are infamous and notorious. Okay, that's great.
Right, yeah. And so, which I had no idea that she was at the school district because, like I said, I lived in Camdenton, and I wasn't going to put my kids in Camdenton. So, because my mom settled the case in 2002 with the Supreme Court and stuff, so against the Camdenton school. So I was like, you know what, I'm not even going to mess with these people. I'm just going to move, and I'm going to put my kids in a different school, and everything's going to be grand and wonderful. And then, you know, that's why I said I made up that plan with my ex-wife that I would take care of everything for the kids, and I had them through the week, so she didn't have to do anything. And so whenever I enrolled them in the school, they sent that email around and said the FYI Laguerres, and the director of special education, Tammy Laporte, she says, do they really live in this district?
Right.
And sent an email back to her. So that's how she was involved in this. And then she tells me in one of these meetings, they call them IEP meetings,
what is that?
And they're independent educational meetings is what it is, to discuss what the plan is going to be and how they're going to do this stuff.
Okay, individual, plans. Okay, that makes sense. IEP, right, great.
And so then in one of these meetings, which I've recorded all of these meetings, and I've recorded every interaction with these people, so I have all of this stuff on recording that in one of these meetings, she says, hey, you know, this is what we're going to do. This is your new parenting plan. And I told her, I said, you guys don't have the judicial authority to do this. You guys can't do this. Yeah. And they said, we're going to do it this way. And I said, well, you guys can't. And they said, well, we talked to our attorney, and our attorney said we can, so if you don't like it, sue us.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, did you tell them that, okay, when they were going on about saying that they could do this and they could do that to you, did you just say to them something simple like, are you talking, like, did you ask them, like, are you talking about my property? I mean, did you go that route?
No, I didn't know about this situation. You know, I didn't know about you and all of this stuff. I was ignorant to the fact that this kind of stuff, I knew it was wrong, but I didn't, I guess, put it in the right words to say, hey, you guys are doing wrong. Fix it. You know?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're not doing something wrong, you know, because as far as they're concerned, within their belief system that what they're doing is proper. So
right.
You got to educate these people in what they're doing, you know, isn't wrong, but they don't have the scope of the authority to touch your property. They're going to think they're 100% in the right because they went to some sort of, you know, community college and they got an associate degree in psychology or child psychology, and they think they're, you know, they got a 4.0 grade average. So for some reason, that belief just makes them feel that they're justified in anything they do.
Right.
Because they accreditation, they got a piece of paper that says that, like the Wizard of Oz, you got a big brain, you know, Mr. Scarecrow. So now you're smart because I gave you a piece of paper.
Right.
So people just got a piece of paper that says they're smarter than you. So they're going to ask their legal department. Yes, and their legal department says the same thing. Well, we got a piece of paper saying that we, you know, are attorneys. We pass the bar, so we are smart. So we can do whatever we want too. So everybody just believes because they got this piece of paper that it makes them better than you, makes them so much smarter than you. That they know what's best because this piece of paper says that they're smarter than you.
Right. No, I completely understand that, and that's where I was at. Cause...
So what they're doing is, what I'm trying to say is, they are not doing wrong. They were led to believe the more pieces of paper they have, the smarter they are. the more in the right they are, the more that they're acting properly and just and fairly and everything else. You're never going to convince these people that they're wrong.
Right. Right.
Okay.
No, I completely understand.
That's good that they said sue us, because that's what you do is then you say, oh, good, you said sue us, and you recorded all this, right?
Yes.
Oh, lovely. So it's like, I'm going to grant you your wish. Your wish is going to come true.
Well, and that's what I did. And I actually filed a administrative hearing thing for them, which, like I said, I didn't know any of this stuff.
Isn't that just lovely? You stepped right into their world.
Right.
And
believe me, I completely admit that.
And how many pieces of paper do you have that says that you're super smart? None.
Yeah, none.
How many pieces of paper do they have? Thousands. So guess who's going to lose this one?
Absolutely.
You're not the
And this ain't even the worst part of it. What happened is after I filed that administrative hearing thing, then then the school district and some of the people in the school district, the women and the men in the school district, they actually involved Division of Family Services in this.
Right.
And then Division of Family Services, then after they involved Division of Family Services, my ex-wife charged my son with molesting his sister. And whenever I went into, like a week before court, she did this to Division of Family Services.
Well, how old?
And I went into Division of Family Services, and I told them, I said, look, here's 18 months of medical records that this stuff happened.
How old is little Johnny Esther?
7.
Oh, please. Okay. Yeah, he's confident. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And that's whenever I went in there.
And a 7-year-old man is fully functional at that time to do some serious molesting.
Right, and that's whenever I went in, because I was pissed that my ex-wife did this to her own flesh and blood.
Yeah, he's probably packing a good 3/4 of an inch.
Right, exactly. And so I went into DFS, the Children's Division there, Social Services, and I told them, I said, look, here's 18 months of medical records that this stuff was going on to my daughter when my son, nor I, or anybody else was around. It was just the mother and the mother's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And because she left our son with me, she hurt his leg, and she left him with me and took our daughter back in 2010, whenever we first split up. And so this is how this all happened with the 18 months of stuff with my daughter and stuff.
Let me ask you a simple question. When this kid was doing all this molesting, where was he?
He was with me.
Okay, so he's with you. How does this wife know that he was molesting?
Because she just, she got him for temporary, or she got him for custody, and we had our agreement and stuff. And then she made up the thing that he was the one doing it to her, and how does she go about substantiating it? She went through DFS to do it, and DFS.
Photos that you have the kid, the girl go to a psychiatrist. I mean, how does she substantiate it other than her saying it?
They didn't. We've never had a hearing. We've never had anything.
Okay.
They never substantiated it.
Okay. Dude, just let's do this one at a time. I don't care about whether you had a hearing or not. I didn't ask for a hearing, did I? You didn't get to that point yet. I'm not even going to ask you about a hearing yet. I'm going to ask you simple questions. I said, so the mom is the one who said that little Johnny Asperger decided to molest his sister, right?
Yes.
What form of molesting? There's all kinds of molesting.
Just touching. Just touching.
Okay, so she touched his sister. Okay, whoop-de-doo. So did anybody ever question you about this touching?
No, nobody ever questioned him. And nobody ever questioned me.
Anybody ever question you?
No.
Okay, nobody's ever come to you and say, why does little Johnny Asperger touch his sister?
No.
Nobody asked you that. Okay, great. So mama goes and says, little Johnny Asperger's touching sister. Yeah, who cares? Okay, where is this going? So what does it matter?
What it matters is that DFS Children's Services. They sent out a letter saying that all the claims were unsubstantiated because I took all the documents into them and I told them there ain't no way in hell it happened. Okay. And so then it actually came out that 4 months later, actually it came out, my daughter told me exactly who was doing what to her. And then I filed...
Let me ask you a simple question. Why did you bring any paperwork to social services, DHR people, DHS people? Why did you bring any paperwork to them at all? Did they say that they were going to summons you to court? I mean, why did you talk to them? How did you even know that they were investigating?
The guardian ad litem, which is the attorney. He actually told me that DFS is saying that something happened between your son and your daughter, and you need to figure out what's going on.
Okay. Did you say to this DSS lady? How did this guardian ad litem even get involved? See, you told him bypass. How did the kid even get the guardian ad litem?
Okay. I'm sorry about that. What happened was the school stole my kids and everything, and I filed, as well as the administrative hearing, I also filed which was supposed to be a contempt order, but it ended up getting filed as a motion to modify our custody agreement against my ex-wife, and then they appointed the GAL in the case.
Okay, what I'm saying is, when did they do this? See, you missed this modification, too. Who initiated this modification?
I did.
Why did you initiate a modification?
Because she, with the school's help, stole my kids.
With the school's help did what?
Stole my property, stole the kids from me.
Okay, how did they, wait a second. Well, first you moved to Lebanon, a county that you successfully won a lawsuit against. Okay, that I got.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said that the director said to show us proof that the kid really lives here in this county, right? Something like the one along that path?
Yeah.
Okay, so you sent them proof, okay? How in the world did you go from that to having the kid stolen? You missed something along the line there.
No, we had like I said, we had an IEP meeting, and they said we are changing your custody agreement, and you are no longer going to have your children from Sunday to Friday. You're only going to have them every other week.
Okay, you're only going to have them every other week on the weekends or something?
Well, they made it up that I would have them 1 week, she would have them the other week.
Oh, the 5 days a week.
Right.
Okay, so full 5 days a week, 50-50.
Right.
She'd have half the time, you'd have half the time. They split the babies in half. That's great. Okay.
Right. And which, like I told them that they couldn't do that, and then whenever I went to go pick up my kids at school, they called the cops on me and said, "You can't have your kids."
Okay. Who wished for the modification of 50-50? Who wanted the 50-50?
It was the school and my ex-wife. They wanted it that way.
There you go, the ex-wife. There you go. You see, you forgot to say that. See, you're missing all these nice little details. First you're saying it's just some director who did all this and said, sue us. But now you're telling me, well, the ex-wife, she wanted it as well. She wanted it to be 50-50. So you're
I don't know that 100%. I mean, I would assume that she would have been the one to tell this director, hey, I want my kids more than what I have them. Do something about it.
Right.
You know.
Okay. So she did. So she went to the director. Let's just say she did. Okay. She went to the director and said, I want this more. I want it 50-50. I'm tired of paying child support. I want 50-50.
Right.
So how much was she paying in child support?
She wasn't. I never asked for child support.
Okay. So she wasn't paying child support. So She just said she wanted to be more of a children's life, so she wanted the kids 50-50. Okay, that's fine. So she wanted it 50-50. Okay, so her and the director said we're going to modify custody.
Right.
Right. And where did you ever ask the lady, where does she have the legal authority to modify a consent decree or, that was generated by a court?
Yeah, I did. And I asked her, I said, where do you have the power to do this?
Do you have the court order?
Yes.
Okay, and what does the court order read?
The court order read that if the mother did not move to Lebanon prior to the commencement of school, she only got the kids on Friday after school until Sunday at 6 p.m.
Okay, so that's what the consent decree read. And what is that actual document called? Is it a consent decree? What is it called?
Parenting plan.
Parenting plan, lovely. So it's not part of the actual divorce itself. It's an actual separate document.
Yes, it is a separate document.
There you go, lovely, because a lot of people who call me up don't realize there's a difference, and there definitely is a difference. So this is a parenting plan. And where along in that parenting plan, in the state of Missouri, does the parenting plan, because you signed to it, you're a signatory, you submit it to the control of the jurisdiction and the authority of parenting plans, have you done any research whatsoever to say that by signing this parenting plan that any government agent, director, school teacher, anything can modify this plan at will?
No.
Okay.
No, there's not anything that I've found that says that.
Okay, yes or no. That's all I need is yes or no. Okay, no. You haven't found that anywhere. Did you just ask the director a very simple question? By what authority, legal or lawful authority, are you relying upon to make such a decision?
And I did.
Did you tell her, can you cite the code? Can you actually give me the conclusions of law and what you're relying upon to do such an act? Can you say, ma'am, you have a legal department. Can you have your legal department tender an actual document that gives you the jurisdiction and the authority to do such an act?
The only thing she told me in that meeting, after I told her that she doesn't have this authority to do that,
she said
that.
How does she know? How do you know she doesn't?
There's nothing saying that she does that I found.
You ask them to put it in writing. You say to her, you have a legal department, right, ma'am? She says, we certainly do. Say, good. Who is in charge of your legal department? Who may I get in touch with in your legal department who will give me the law in which you're relying upon to do such an act? Who is the man or woman in your legal department in which I'm in contact?
Right. And she told me then, she said, my lawyer said I can do this, and that's what we're going to do.
What is my name?
Ernie
what is the name of her lawyer?
Right.
And what was the name of her lawyer?
Ernie Jacobs.
Okay, so you wrote to Ernie Jacobs and say what law she's relying upon which gives her the capacity to act in such a manner. And what
right. I didn't actually write a letter to him.
Oh, you didn't do it. Oh, boy, isn't that sweet. Why didn't you write him a letter?
Because I just filed a complaint in their administrative thing. Like I said, I didn't know what else to do.
How about instead of complaining, how about we find out the law? Okay,
right.
Ask what law you're relying upon to do such an act. Where is it written within your code, your statute, in which I subscribed, which I became a slave to, because I voluntarily put my name to paper, and I said, I will kiss your ever-loving ass, but show me in that book that I said, I will kiss your ass, and that you can modify it at will. Show me, and I will kiss your ass, because I'm a schmuck, and I just kiss everybody's ass. I will kiss your ass if you show me where I have to kiss your ass.
Right. And
that's all you
ask. Right. And yeah, that the only problem is that I've ran into is that it's no longer just the school. It's the Division of Family Services has gotten involved now.
Okay.
And they
you don't care about the Division of Family Services. You just want to know where the director had the authority, the power, the capacity to do such an act on Tuesday, August the 17th, 2014. When she told me that. That's all you want to know. That's all you want to know to this point. I don't give a damn how many other people got involved. All I want to know is when that lady opened her mouth and she made that decision that day, what law was she relying upon to do such an act?
Okay. All right.
That's what we want to know.
I will do that.
How many other people came involved after that? All I want to know is what happened. What did she do on that day? Because if she acted out of her scope and authority, you got a claim. If you don't, if she didn't act out of her scope and authority, you don't have a claim.
Right. And I understand that. And what has happened since then is I have completely lost all rights to my kids.
I don't give a damn.
And what?
You got to find out where she's got that capacity to move in such a manner. That's the first thing you got to do.
Okay. All right.
And you find out from her lawyer that she did have that ability or didn't have that ability to say, well, you know what, that was then, this is now, you know, you got a lot bigger fish to fry. Now, if I was you, I'd worry about kissing ass and just getting back to custody of your kids. You know, I don't want to be worried about what she did back then. You know, if I was you, I wouldn't want to fucking piss the judge off. And you know, if I was you, I'd just start worrying about getting back to, you know, good graces with the court. You want to know exactly what gave her the ability and power to modify custody at that day. That's
okay.
What you need to do. Okay, that's the number one thing you need to do. Okay, so then what's the other thing you were trying to say to me?
Well, the other thing is that. Go ahead.
You say all kinds of other fucking fun and shit happened since then?
Yeah. What has happened since that day is they took the DFS took the ridiculous charge that my ex-wife, the alleged charge that my ex-wife made against my son, and did use that to, when we got to court, they told the judge, hey, look, we think this happened. Well, the judge said, well, it's obvious that this happened, so we're going to, and keep in mind, there was no hearing, no nothing. The judge just said this in open court. We're going to split the kids now.
Yeah.
During my custody time and all that stuff. And DFS gets to direct wherever the kids go and what they do.
Okay.
And then a month later, they DFS called up and called the judge and said, he's not cooperating with us, so now we want to take his rights away to weekends only. And, you know, my old attorney and everybody was standing in court, and they said, what is he not cooperating with? And they said, well, we don't know.
Yeah.
And so, which we found secret emails and stuff like that to the judge of what they thought was going on and what they thought should be done. And then a month after that, I got a call on October 31st from my old attorney, and he said that DFS said that they had he told me that they had a conference call with the judge, and the judge, DFS told the judge that they, because I took my daughter to the emergency room because she had a huge bruise on her arm, that it was emotionally traumatizing for my daughter, and they need to strip my rights completely, and I need supervised visitation, and I only get to see them at the DFS office 1 hour a week, and that has been going on since last year.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is they've made this web so ridiculously big, and Division of Family Services has found a way to get in. The Attorney General even filed this year in February or March of this year, which I was recording all of the meetings and stuff like that. And I told them that I was recording the meetings and stuff, and I asked them, I said, why do I have supervised visits? And they said, well, because you can't get along with the boyfriend. Which that wasn't their exact words. I was just paraphrasing what they actually said. But like I said, I've got it all on recording and everything. And so the Attorney General of Missouri filed a paper in my case that told them, that said to the judge that DFS did not get due process in this matter, and the order is void from doing any of this. And so I told this judge, this is the fourth judge that I've had, because I got the one to recuse himself, or I got 3 to recuse themselves, and I also got a GAL thrown out because he was illegal. He didn't have the proper paperwork on file. But, so...
Everywhere.
What was that?
Well, I said you're just making friends everywhere. Okay, that's fine. I just see the smile. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right, and yeah, I mean, the GAL's wife worked at the school district in the special education department as well.
Okay.
And they didn't tell me that. But anyway, the thing is that the DFS sent in a motion and said, hey, look, we want out of this case. We want nothing to do with this stuff. And we didn't make any recommendations now, and we didn't make any recommendations then, and we want out of this case. And I told the judge, no.
Who said that? Who said they wanted out?
The Division of Family Services, the Attorney General of Missouri, which represents the Division of Family Services.
Okay, so they said they want out.
Right, because I made everything public in my case of what they did and all of that, because I didn't know what else to do. So I made it all public.
No, I didn't say that's wrong. Okay, so that's fine. You did everything public. That's good.
So they filed this paper, and in open court, I told this new judge, I said, look, DFS is saying they want out of this case, that this order is void because they didn't get due process. I'm telling you, I didn't get due process, so I think the order is void. You know, I believe it's void. And, you know, because I fired my old attorney, and I represented myself. Well, I fired him when he sent me a text message that the judge refers in clients. And I was like, okay, you're out of here. I'm done. And so whenever I told this judge, you know, hey, look, this is the deal, you know, they saying they don't want them to do with this. I'm saying I didn't get due process, so the order needs to be voided. And he said, you need to get an attorney so we can go in the back room here and move this case forward and all this stuff. And I was like, well, I've tried that before, and I'm where I'm at today because of that. And he was like, well, then, you know, I might just refer this case to juvenile, which is another part of the court, you know, if you don't get a lawyer and all this stuff. So I was like, all right, fine. So I went and hired a lawyer. You know, I said, you know, I was like, I have the right to represent myself. And he was like, yes, you do. But this would move, I'm going to tell you one more time. He told me like 15 times. You know, he said, it's you need to get a lawyer, otherwise it's going to get real ugly.
Yeah.
For me. And, you know, like I told him, I said, you know, he was like, I want to move forward. I was like, I do too. But the only way to move forward is to stop violating my rights. And I said, and then we can move forward.
Okay.
And then he threatened me that he was going to send it to juvenile and all this stuff. So I was like, all right, fine. So I went and hired another attorney.
Okay.
And in June of this year, and she took $3,800 of my money, and I still have no hope of getting my kids.
Too funny.
What's that?
That's too funny. How did you hear about me?
Doing all the research and stuff, trying to find a way to go about this that will actually work. And so I fired her, and which was just last week or the week before.
How did my name pop up that it's going to work?
What's that?
That's why I just laughed. It's not a bad thing. I'm just laughing. And how does my way work? I mean, who told you that my way works?
It makes sense. I mean, now that I've actually looked at your stuff and I've listened to a lot of things on, you know, how you've helped those other families and stuff, it just makes sense.
I mean, how did you find me? I mean, this talk show is like a little bullshit middle of nowhere Pittsburgh thing. How did you find me?
One of the ladies that, whenever I went public, there is a group of people that's been helping me trying to research laws, and my mom actually found you as she was researching stuff, and she was like, listen to this guy. What he's saying is making sense. And
yeah, it's called Lentz sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know, honestly, you sound just like my grandfather and my father do. You know, they are straight, this is the way it is. I'm a man, you know, this is the deal. My grandfather was from New York, and he was born and raised in New York, and, you know, so he was always that, look, if you got a problem with me, that's perfectly fine. Let's figure this out, okay? If you don't want to figure it out, fine. We'll go to court and we'll deal with it that way. You know, and sometimes he did it that way. Sometimes he was just like, you know, hey, look, I'll just knock you lights out. I really don't care. You know, but I mean, you know, it just made sense. And, you know, I started thinking about everything that my grandfather had told me about the way the world works and all of that, and what my father had told me. And I was like, you know what, this guy's making sense. I've heard this before, you know. And I'm like, wow, this stuff actually works, okay. Everybody wasn't full of shit. Okay, all right, this stuff actually works. So that's why I'm here with you right now is I just need, so I filed a claim, okay.
Well, what did the claim read?
The claim reads, hold on just a second. I got it pulled up here. It reads, I, a man, prosecutor, and then down below that it says Ralph James, a man, and Ralph James, a person, magistrate, judge, Camden County Court. And then it says and Andrew White, a man, and Andrew White, guardian ad litem, and Missouri Department of Social Services, Children's Division, each unnamed wrongdoer 1 through 99, and each unnamed wrongdoer 1 through 99, wrongdoers. And then it says under that, it says, I require a court of record trial by jury. And under that, I put claim trespass. And then under that, I put, I, a man, require the immediate restoration of my property, see Exhibit A and Exhibit B, to be delivered to 335 Smith Road, Lebanon, Missouri.
Yeah.
And then under that, I said, the said wrongdoers trespass upon my property. The trespass did and does harm and injury to my property. The commencement of the wrong and harm began on May 18, 2013. The wrong and harm continues to this day, November 24, 2014. I require compensation for the initial and continual trespass upon my property. Compensation due, and I took your $1 per second that they interfered, and it ended up being 90 per exhibit, and ended up being $95,904,000. And then under that, I put continual trespass compensation due, $1 per second, Exhibit A, $1 per second, Exhibit B. Yeah. And then under that, I said, I say here, and will verify in open court that all herein be true. And then I signed it, Dennis Lagares Jr., and put the date underneath it and put my thumbprint on it. And then I also attached Exhibit A, a picture of my son, and Exhibit B, a picture of my daughter.
Yeah, okay. You went an awful long way to do something I think is incredibly simple. But is there when you got this new parenting plan, right? Way back when, right? Okay. When you got this new parenting plan, so you're trying to say that you had some sort of a hearing way back when?
No, I never had a hearing. It never went. I filed for due process in the administrative hearing panel for the school, but I never went through with it because then they got DFS involved, and, you know, it took them a year. And I had this all spelled out in the complaint of what they were trying to do and how they were trying to strip me of my rights because my ex-wife took me.
Let me, you do an awful long way of asking me. I ask you a simple question. You go around the long path. You just like doing the long way for some reason. But very simple question I just asked you. I said, so who modified this arrangement? Who modified this parenting plan?
Originally, Tammy Lapardis at the school.
Okay, Tammy did. Okay, so this director lady named Tammy, she modified it?
Yes. Originally, yes.
Okay, she modified it, right?
Yes.
and she made it 50-50. Did you just ever send her a bill because she modified something? By this modification, it has caused loss to you. You've accrued financial loss. Have you ever just sent her a bill and say, you owe me this much money?
No.
Okay. And like I said, is there a reason why you still can't go back to their attorney and say by what lawful or legal authority was she relying upon to do such an act? You see, you got to do that still, too.
Right.
Or you send her the bill that, hey, you know what, I did set myself up when I signed this parenting consent decree back in 2012. I did set myself up for this, that somebody could just come in and just, do as they will, and I have to basically consent to it. So like I said, first to find out, did you consent to this? Did you give them the legal and lawful authority to do such an act to you?
No.
Well, you're going to find out.
Oh, okay.
You might have. There might be something in that contract that you signed. Like I said, people just sign things like effing crazy, and they never bother to really read it. That gives them the other person the power and authority to act in a certain manner.
No. They didn't create a new document.
And to say they created a new document, whatever you signed in 2012, the parenting plan, after the divorce, right? You got the divorce decree, right? Okay. You filed the divorce decree. You got divorced. Then all of a sudden you got started to, you had a parenting plan also established at that time, right?
Right.
Great, lovely. So you're following along with me. Is there anything in that parenting plan that back from 2012 that gives them the authority to do what they did?
No. I've read over that thing 100 times, and there's nothing in there.
All right, you believe there's nothing in there. That's lovely. That's a nice belief to have. So you believe that what they're doing right now is wrong.
Right.
Okay, that they're doing something that they know is illegal and unlawful. They have no capacity to do such an act, and they're just totally bullshitting.
Yes.
Okay, so you think what they're doing is wrong. So you're calling them out, basically saying, good. Now, where's your attorney? And I want to hear the attorney tell me that what you're doing is legal and lawful. Right?
Okay.
Right now. You got to find out if what they're doing is legal and lawful. And if you find out that what she wasn't doing something legal and lawful, obviously you could tender her the bill.
Okay.
For what the damage that she's done. Okay? And when you do that, they got something called a finance department in every county and every state. In every finance department, there's something called risk management. They're the people that actually, the actuaries that actually come up who have to, when a state or a county employee does wrong, they have a fund, like a trust fund or a slush fund or a compensation fund for the wrong. So obviously you're going to get them, they're going to be involved because you want compensation. So you're going to, obviously those people are going to get involved. So then you go after the lady in her individual and her official capacity. Because in official capacity, that's when you could tap into the state's finances. But because right now, even if you did go after her, she could say she's worth $32.16, and you get $1 million from her. She could say, please take my payment of 1 penny a year for the next 10 million years. And that's what I'm going to get. So that's why you got to go after her in the official and individual capacity, as a state employee as well as a woman.
Okay.
You can't forget to go after them in their official capacity as well. That she was in dereliction of duty because she overstepped. She overreached her, capacity, and her ability to administrate to do what she did.
Right. Okay.
That's why you got to make sure you come after it both ways.
Okay.
So, and then like I say to people, that is when you file like a complaint, and the other one is when you file a claim. So you're actually doing both worlds. You're going after man to man, which is the claim world, and then you're actually filing a complaint, which is the legalese world. So people say to me, but Karl, why do you file complaints and claims? I said, it depends. Am I going after the person, or am I going after the man? Or am I going after both? Sometimes it's beneficial to go after both. And I'm sure you've seen that sometimes in lawsuits too. If you've been really studying lawsuits, you've been seeing where it says in an individual and official capacity.
Yes. Yeah, that's I actually filed a federal lawsuit against all of these people.
Well, you didn't file a federal lawsuit. You probably filed the United States Civil Court under the United States Civil Procedures.
Right. Yeah, I dismissed it because I realized that was not the way I needed to go, so I dismissed it without prejudice.
Right. It could be the way to go because you can sue them in the federal court because you want the diversity. You want to say that I'm not going to be able to get because honestly, if you read the Constitution of the United States, it says any time a man has a charge against him by the state in which he lives, the court of original jurisdiction is that of the United States Supreme Court. You can't be tried in the state of Missouri by the state of Missouri.
Okay. All right.
It's right there in the Constitution. If you read, if you read the power of the Supreme Court, any man who's been charged with a crime in his state, obviously, the state court cannot hear the matter. Obviously, the original jurisdiction has got to be that of the United States Supreme Court.
The only problem I have with that,
if everybody was charged with a state court, ran to the United States Supreme Court, they'd be backlogged forever.
Okay, I have a question about that. I was never actually charged with anything.
Don't be saying that you were charged with anything. I'm saying that you signed a parental consent decree in 2012 that you bound yourself to act in a certain manner, and you're going to let a certain jurisdiction, certain parties, and certain individuals outside of your outside of your home, determine where your children are going to lie.
Right. Okay. All right.
You allow that to happen. So, like I said, you got to let them show you where is the provision in here which allows you to come in and administrate my property. Where does it say it's here in this parenting plan? Where does it say that I give you the capacity to do such an act? And they've got to point it out. They've got to say, well, in Section 3, subsection F, subsection G, it clearly defines that we have the capacity at will, at any time. Any, state agent has the capacity to modify your parenting without your consent, without your permission.
Okay.
They have to actually point it out and show you in black and white. It says, buddy, it says right here. What part of that can't you read? And I'll say, oh, yes, it does say that. I did. I was a sucker for that. I did sign that bullshit, didn't I? Yeah, I guess I am. Okay. And then you live and learn. And you say, you know what? I'm going to fucking have to, rescind my signature on that. You know what? I'll administrate my property from now on. Thank you anyway.
Okay. So I need to rescind that parenting agreement?
No, because first you got to find out. No, first you're going to hold them. If they exceeded their lawful and legal authority to act in such a manner, then you're going to go after them for breach. Then you're going to, breach. They moved without the capacity to do such an act. It's a derelict in duty.